Ha ha ha! Anyone want to buy a dashboard off a Range Rover Evoque? Okay, just give a little pull on the back of the speaker, and then importantly, I'm going to remember which way round it goes. Aha, there's two. She soldered on. Remember in the old days you used to get a little tool like this and just used to wind the clocks back, apparently. Yeah! Come on, Eileen! There we go, there we go, there we go. It's chiming at me. I've never been so happy to hear the seatbelt chime. So for my Range Rover Evoque fans, I have some good news, but I've also got some bad news. The good news is, you know when you get in the Range Rover and you start to drive off, I'll show you, normally if you haven't got your seatbelt on, and quite rightly so, there's a chime that goes with the light on the dashboard showing you to put your seatbelt on. So if I roll forward here, it should go ding, 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 and it's not. The bad news is that this has happened all of a sudden, that if I put the indicators on, there's also no chime. So they work, the lights are all good, there's no bulbs that are out. Likewise with the hazards, again, same problem. So it tells me that the sounder, and it's a software little speaker that makes the tick-tock rather than the old school relays. Something's not right with it. So this King Bolin K10 Pro is probably the most sophisticated diagnostic tool. It really is astonishing what this thing can do. What I would like to find is there must be on here, as I got a problem with my chime, is to see if there is a special function which actually will enable that chime. Let's have a look through on the list here. So you think of a category where it's going to be relevant to that. So it's not going to be, it could be under alarms and security, I guess. Steering, I mean, it's near the instrument cluster, but it's not there. Seat, there might be a chime function on that. Let's have a look at the seat. No, that's just calibration for the seat. Let's try going into electrical. Oh, here we go. What have we got here then? Entertainment system, audio systems, calibrate dynamic volume control, auxiliary heater, heater and ventilation, entertainment systems, navigation reset. Let's go into audio systems and see if there's anything there. Set the ignition switch to position 2, all right. Okay, well, it looks like I've calibrated the dynamic volume there, but it didn't give me the chime function that I was looking for. Okay, so I have checked all the fuses. That's in the engine bay, in the glove box, and at the back. I've pulled out the ones which is associated with dashboard. Dashboard went off, so I know it was the right fuse. Put it back on again. Maybe I thought I might reset it, but unfortunately not. So I'm going to have to take this dashboard cluster out now. Never done it before, but I think I have to remove this plastic trim around the edge. So I've got my plastic trim removal tools. Never done it. Let's see how easy this is to get out, because I think that the sounder for the indicators is on the back side of the instrument cluster. Oh, the joy. Let's move the steering wheel down as far out as I can, give myself as much room. Not many videos talk about this online, but I believe that the sounder, the chime for the seat belts and for the indicators, can be quite a common issue. So let's get a video out there to help you boys and girls. These little tools for removing things are great. There's a link in my description if you're interested. You can get them from my little shop. I get a tiny wee bit of commission. Oh, there's one. We're getting somewhere. Oh, that's nice. The other side. Oh, easy as that. Okay. Now I'm going to try and separate this top of the cowling. I'll see if I can pull up. Oh, here we go. I thought there might be screws holding it. There certainly has been in other Range Rovers I worked in, so that's good. Oh, that's nice. Oh, oh, oh. I'll edit that bit out. Right, so good. Here is the little doodah. So this bit here, just lovely, just clips on. There's no screws to undo. Happy days. You can just pull that up gently. And the clips that we're undoing are these little bad boys here. Okay, so that's that out of the way. Looks like there's a couple of torques here. Lots of room down there. It'd be nice if the sounder was in the bottom, but okay, good. Right, let's get my tools. All right, I'm going to get into these two little bad boys down here. Let's get those undone. I must put some wiper washer fluid in. It keeps flashing up on my dash. Don't drop them, don't drop them. Right, good. So that's that. Now, is there one up there? I think there's one behind this little trim here. Aha, there we are. Oh shit. Bummer. Oh, that was lucky. Oh, don't drop that. Right, okay, so that's that there, and there must be another one. I'm guessing, I can't quite see it, but I'm gonna guess it's another Torx. Oh, there she is. Right, so that's that. So it looks like there's just 3 screws. Oh, there we are. Oh, good, good, good. Right, okay. Now what? Do we pull this forward and wheel this out? Oh, there we are. Good. Right, so the keys are off, importantly. I'm just going to unplug this. Loads of room to play with. So there'll be a little lever to push. Push that little lever in. Then this is going to, yeah, that rotates up. And that will then pull out. Ha ha ha! Anyone want to buy a dashboard off a Range Rover Evoque? I'll sell it to you, but the wife won't be very happy. Right, so here it is in all its glory. Where is that sounder? It's got, oh look, it's got to be. It's got to be that. It's got to be that. So when I'm fixing a problem like this, where it's pretty specific, down to that one component, that speaker, one of the best tools that I use is eManual Online. And the eManual then categorises all the main areas of the car. Your suspension, your brake system, your steering system. And if you look down here, there's actually one for instrumentation and warning systems. And clicking on that, it brings up the instrument panel that we've just been working on, and it even shows you all the other items that are connected onto it, which is why we couldn't get the donor instrument cluster to actually get the car to start. Further down, it gives me information on those screws, how to undo and remove the instrument cluster. So having one of these manuals is an absolute godsend, it really is. I've mentioned this before, cars these days, they're pretty much computers on wheels. So having a dealer level work instruction from eManual Online, it gives you that one step ahead. So the beauty of this eManual work instruction is that once you've paid for it, that's it. Once you've downloaded it, there's no subscription costs. This is going to be a reference guide. Anytime you want to find an issue on your car, you can simply look up through the categories and get to that point to help you work out what your problem. And not only that, right now there's a little discount code, 22% off for you down below. Right, let's get it in the let's get it on the bench, and I'll try and work out how to fix it. Never done it before, but then it can't be that difficult. It's just a sounder. So I'm hoping I can get this back off without too much dramas. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a little cloth down. I don't want to mark my wife's lovely instrument cluster. So this is going to be fun and games. You're going to have to sort of have about 3 pairs of hands. I need to push these little tabs in by the looks of it, and at the same time push those in and release it. And then once I get, I know once I get one sort of starting to prise away, the rest will follow suit. So this is under these 2 screws. Okay. Right, now let's try again. Any more screws? Don't see them. Oh, that looks good. Oh, right, okay. Right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go like that. Keep going around. Let's push this one. Oh, that's nice. Oh. So that's the trick. You have to sort of put a bit of tension on. And then the next one. Like that. And then this. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Right, now I've got that there. Let's get something in there. Little spanner. Little plastic tool maybe. Okay, good. I don't want to break anything. No. Right, now I've got that tension on, I should be able to get round the rest of them fairly easy. There. Oh yeah. Actually, that white one you don't need to do. It's just these two outer ones. The white one is obviously for the maybe the PCB behind it. In fact, it's actually only one of them, so you don't need to undo them all at the same time. Perfect. All right, I think we're there, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Right. Look what I've done. What an idiot. That's just removing the cowling. Right, okay, lessons learned there. The one that you want to undo, I'll cut that bit out, I'll edit that bit. The one you want to do is obviously the, you don't need to do what I just done there. Save 5 minutes, it's these ones here. These ones. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Right. Actually, to be fair, it is better if you remove the cowling. Okay, okay. Right, just remember which way this all goes back together. Remember in the old days you used to get a little tool like this and just used to wind the clocks back, apparently. Not that I ever did that, but that's what people used to do. Right, be very careful of these dials because it's obviously not being protected now by the perspex. So let's turn it over importantly and see if we can get to that sounder. There's two little clips here, look. That was on that way, right? Okay, I'm going to give that a clean. Oh, getting somewhere. Oh, finally. Be very careful. Don't see any moisture in there. So, let's carefully turn this over. So there is your little sounder. And yeah. Now I've got to it, what am I going to do with it? My problem is that if the sounder's gone, then I can't just sort of replace it unless I take it off the circuit board. Let's undo these screws and see where we go with that. I could just buy another dashboard and see if I can somehow take the old sounder off and put the new one on, but because obviously the dashboard is coded to the car, and that means that all the speedo and stuff is going to be wrong if I put a new one in or a used one in. Well, I can't really get to it unless I take the dials off the speedo, and I don't really want to do that. By the looks of this PCB, all I can see in there is two connections for that sounder. Let's get a photo of that. Well, couldn't see anything online. I think the only thing to do if I was buying another dashboard, take off the old speaker and put the new one on. Right, back on the car. Hopefully it works still, otherwise I've got to get a new dash. Alright, first of all, let's plug her in and fingers crossed I haven't mucked up something. Right, so the lever goes up. This is the lever. Make sure that's, yeah, in this orientation. Plug it in. Make sure the keys are off when you do it as well. And then slide that back over so it's nice and snug. Right. And then sort of tilt it slightly towards you down and then push it back. Oh, well, we got the Range Rover logo, so that's a good sign, isn't it? Right. And that's it. That just sits on there. Yeah, that's it. Right. Let's start the button and see. Fingers crossed. Well, the dials are all good. I don't have any warning lights. That's nice. I've got parking brake on. Oh, I've got trip A. Why is it saying trip A? Right, okay. Average speed, instant fuel, distance to empty. Doors open, let's close the door. Doors closed. And then washer fluid, so that's fine. So there's no faults. Wouldn't it be amazing if I put the indicator and it worked? No. And no. What a shame, that would have been amazing. Give it the old bash. Would it work? No. So on this occasion, yes, I'm defeated, but not forever. So I'm going to have a look for a nice little used cluster, instrument cluster. If I can, I'll just get the speaker. Welcome back. So it's been a few days, and here's my plan. I'm going to try and replace the dashboard with another unit. I had a look. I managed to get right down to finding that particular speaker from an online website. I was going to buy one, but then I thought, well, why don't I just buy another dashboard? They're cheap enough. I had a look on eBay and I bought one for £19. There's loads of them. You might have heard of them, so an online auction site. So I bought the whole instrument cluster. Have a look at this. Very nice. Now, if I was to plug this in, it would work, and I'm hoping it will, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to take that out, plug it in, test the indicators. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what the issue is. And then I know we've got the problem kind of sorted. But obviously, this is from another Range Rover. Made sure I got exactly the right year and spec and all the rest. But I've got 87,000 miles on this one, and God knows what's on this. So I'm going to do two things today. First of all, we're going to check that. Secondly, I'm going to get back out my K10 Pro from King Bolan, and I'm going to see if there's a way of copying the information from my existing instrument cluster onto the new one so that the mileage is consistent. There might not be, because after all, that would just mean then that anybody could buy an instrument cluster and swap it over and get the mileage lower. So I'm kind of 50-50 whether it will be something possible or not, but nevertheless, let's have a little look. So this is where the topological feature comes in handy, because if I didn't have this, I'd be thinking to myself, whereabouts is the control unit for doing the instrument cluster? So let's just have a little look. On the left hand side, it comes in and it says OBD. That's down at the VCI on the port. Then at the top there, you've got the CAN for HS, which looks like electron control module, your ABS. So I don't think it'd be in there. Traction control module, I'm not thinking it's that one. The next one down is your CAN MS. And here we got things, I'm just trying to look at the acronyms that I recognize there. HVAC, that's a heating and ventilation, could be in that one. SODR, what's that one? Lost communication with the instrument cluster. That's the fella. And that's because I unplugged it. So what's the next one? That was last couple of days ago and I unplugged it. SODL. Lost communication with the instrument cluster. Right, good. Alert and audio fault display and alert and faulty display. So let's have a look at the dashboard. So unfortunately, I couldn't see a specific special function to allow me to copy the odometer over onto my new one. So I'm going to literally take this out. I've done it once before, so it's going to be a lot quicker now because the learning curve's out of the way. And then we'll plug that in and we'll see if it goes chime, chime, chime when I press the indicators. And this is how you move the instrument cluster on a Range Rover Evoque. Get the steering wheel and let's get that moved out the way. I find just moving it towards you and kind of down gives you enough room at the back there. Little pry tool, just get underneath here and just pop off the edges. This will then pop away, and now the top part of your steering column, just put it up, just grab it behind and just put it up like this. Easy as that. Right, now, a couple of screws. As I said, I've done this before, so guarantee you it'll take you not even a third of the time, because you know which way to get in there, you know which tools to use, you got that confidence, importantly, and you can just crack on. Physically, especially like removing the plastic trim, once it's been removed once, it's always easier the next time. Don't lose your screws. Right, that's those out the way. Now on the top of the instrument cluster, there's a little one just there. So a little knife's quite good for this. Just take off the little plastic cover. That's it. And then you've got to kind of feel it by feel. Catch the screw. Right, now, all intents and purposes, you can just pull the dashboard out. Pull it on the top first, and then tip it towards you. And this is why you get the steering column all the way out. And then on the back here, importantly, there's a little plug. There's a little lever there. Lift that up. Pull the plug out. Right, that's the dashboard removed. Right, here's the moment of truth. Let's plug in the new one, and hopefully we'll get a tick-tock from the indicators. And then I'm going to have to take it all apart and try and desolder the old speaker and put the new one on. Well, look, it come to life. Oh my goodness, 82,000 miles. Well, you know what? It's not far off what the old one was. In fact, what was the old one? I'll have to look back on the video. That's interesting. Maybe I don't need to. Maybe I can just put the dashboard in. There's a point, isn't it? Right, importantly, indicators. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to press the hazard button. Yeah! Come on, Eileen! Look at that! It works! Oh, seatbelt chime. Well, yeah, that's going to work when I start the car. Lock it. We're all working. I've got tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Not the internet one, my car tick-tock. Right, let's put the indicators on. I've got a... That's interesting. Look, even though it's all going tick-tock, tick-tock, it's not working. And I've read this before, that if you change the instrument cluster, the car won't start. So there's probably a mismatch with the control units. All right, well, let's go old school. Plan B, I'm going to get my soldering iron out and I'm going to solder that speaker onto the old one. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the old one and here is the current one, and I want to take the speaker off this, put it onto that. Now, because I've done this before, I know what I'm doing, and I now know that there's 3 layers to this. So these little push-in tabs here, you kind of do them, do the whites all together, do the blacks all together, and then the outer case comes off, and eventually you get down to the PCB. So let's crack on and get this off. My plan is, can I get in there with a soldering iron and desolder it there and there? There's only 2 lugs. Remove that and then pop the new one on. Now obviously I've got to take this one apart now, so let's not mix these up. I'll put this one over here and do the next one. It does just pull off, right. So now I can get to the PCB and I can desolder that one and that one. Right, let's do it. Okay, just give a little pull on the back of the speaker, and then importantly I'm going to remember which way round it goes as well. Here's a little bit of history for you. I was the one that actually sorted out the B&W 7 Series sensor when I used to work for Honeywell, and I did the soldering machine setup. Aha! There's your speaker. All that to get that speaker. Right, good. So it was that one to the outside of the PCB. All right, well, let's get the old one off. All right, so here is my one. So I'm tempted to do the same, but I don't want to muck up these dials. See if I can get a bit of gap in there without pulling it all the way off. Yeah, I'm not going to pull the dial off on this one. I don't want to chance it. So the little plug speaker is facing inboard. And I'm going to get myself some support here because I've only got one pair of hands. Just going to space this out as much as I can. There she is. Right. First thing I'm going to do, make sure I don't put it down, put a cross on it. Just put something on it so you know it's the bad one. I can just about see that. Right, it's a cross on that, bad one. Okay, good one. Right, so the plus was on the inboard, wasn't it? All right. So I'm just going to give these a little tin on the solder. What do you guys in America call this? Solder. They got it solder in America. Solder. I would take all of the residual solder off so that it's as small as you can. Put that back on there. Now put a heat and see if we can get this to push through. These are the two holes here. Just going to try and open them up a little bit. What I've got here is a little solder sucker. See if I can suck up some of the old solder. Yeah, it is that speaker. That's it there. Ooh. I'm just trying to get the new one on.
How did you know?
How do I know? It's because I took the old one off your dashboard and I'm trying to solder the new one on, but I plugged in your new one. But it won't work fully because it's from another car. But the tick-tock was there. Oh. So I'm using your existing instrument cluster and I'm soldering this one onto it. Okay. Aha, there's two. Beautiful. She's on. Right, let's get a little extra bit of solder. Solder. Bit of solder from my American friends. So there you go. She's soldered on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, before I put it all back together and put the casings on, I'm going to plug it in because I can do in this state. I'll just make sure I don't touch anything. And let's hopefully, fingers crossed, the car will go tick-tock, and it will start. Let's go. Right, moment of truth. So carefully, let's plug it in. Yeah, the other one had 82,000 miles. This one says 87,000 miles. Please start, and please go tick-tock, tick-tock. All right. Had a bit of a moment there. I couldn't get the dials to do its thing. So what I did, I was playing, because the dial fell off basically. I was pulling it away from the PCB to get to the speaker, and I didn't want to do it just because I know it was going to muck something up. But when I put it back on, the revs weren't sitting right with the speedo, and I was starting to have a bit of a panic. But I'd started the engine, and then I noticed that it was wanting to sit in a certain position, but because I had this out of its back casing, which I've now just popped back on again, I think it was mucking up the way that these needles sat. So I clicked it back into its rear housing, and I unplugged it when I did it, put it back on, and the first thing it did was it settled all the dials, all the needles, so they sat properly. And now, thankfully, if I just raise it up slightly here, when I press the start button, the dials are doing their thing. Oh, because it was sitting up about 3,000. It was just on idle. So now if I start the car, there we go. Give it a rev. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's working. I got indicators. Seatbelt chime. Well, I haven't tried that out yet, but I will do. In fact, let's do that now. Come with me whilst I got it in this raw state and I don't muck it up. Put that there. Let's go for a drive, and let's get the seatbelts on. Right, let's take it down the drive and see. Let's get down my drive, go for a little drive round the block. I purposely, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to have my seatbelt on until it chimes at me. And the little red thing comes up on my dashboard. Doesn't do it in reverse. Right, into drive, let's see what happens. Is it going to go chime chime? No seatbelt. Doors lock. No. Oh, there we go! 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 It's chiming at me. I've never been so happy to hear the seatbelt chime. Let's pay attention and not break the law. I'm going to pop my seatbelt on. Yeah, all right. I'm putting the seatbelt on. Jeez, oh man. Oh, it works. Something I learned today was I asked a very good friend of mine who happens to be a driving instructor, and I said to him, tell me this, I've got this problem with there's no tick-tock, which I've obviously got now. Happy days. Woo-hoo-hoo. God, the wife's gonna be so happy, by the way. I said, is that an MOT failure if it doesn't give an audible signal? But everything works, the indicators are all good, the lights are flashing. And he goes, I'm going to answer it with a question and you're going to kick yourself. I said, go on then. He says to me, can deaf people drive a car? I went, yeah, oh yeah, of course they can. Well, there's your answer. There is no legal requirement to have an audible signal for your indicators, or what do you call in America? Turn signals or something. But what you must have is a visual, as in when I press the indicators, the lights on the dashboard are telling me, and obviously the indicators working on the outside. So there you go, learned something today that you do not need to have an audible signal for your indicators, but it was just doing my head in. So I'm glad I got it replaced. The speedo, that looks like it's working nicely. She's all working. All I got to do now is pop it back together again, get the dashboard back in, have a cup of tea. Thanks so much, by the way, if you got to the end of this video. I really do hope this helps somebody. You can see that actually to fix this problem, it's only taken me £19. But you can imagine the cost in labour if you were to go to, say, the likes of Range Rover. And if you follow this video, I'd like to think that it wasn't that difficult. You just need to have a little bit of know-how. And we've done it now, and everything's working great. Happy days for the sake of a £19 part on eBay. Thanks if you subscribed, and I will see you on the next one. I've got a wicked little video coming up, by the way, of how to adjust a roof on this car here, on a Mercedes SL, which is just sitting in front of me. So that's coming up.